I come to discover something. Not all memory cards are created equal. Now, I probably should have known that from the beginning, but first, almost forgot, and I cannot forget this. Today is a big day. Today, the Red Sox are playing the Yankees for the 2021 wild card position, American League East. Okay, back to memory cards. So, when I go to look for a memory card, you're probably like me, and the first place you go is Amazon. And why is that? Because they're cheap. But sometimes the saying, you get what you pay for, is true. And I've come to realize that after years of acquiring SD cards, and only coming to realize as I'm getting more into video that the speed of the SD card really makes a difference. Now, when I was just shooting with my D600 landscape photography, speed really wasn't that great of an issue. I understand why the industry is slowly switching over to CFEXPRESS or XQD versus SD. For the most part, I do think SD can still hold its own in some cases, like this GoPro Hero 9 I'm using right now. It only uses SD cards, and I'm recording 4K video at 60 frames per second, and it's doing quite a good job at it. And so, however, once I started shooting other things like weddings, video, I started to realize that the speed of the card really plays a huge part. And this is part of my problem. This probably was part of my problem with my Z5, to be honest with you, is I was using these cards. And the first thing about this card is the U1. Now, you will commonly see a U1 and a U3. Now, a U1 SD card is only capable of writing up to 10 megabytes per second, whereas a U3 is capable of writing up to 30 megabytes per second. And so that's a huge difference when you are trying to have your camera take 4.5 shots per second and load them all onto this one SD card to clear the buffer to shoot another burst of photos. That is something I don't think I fully understood until I started shooting weddings and other photography styles that required rapid shutter speed. Now, this Sony Tough CFEXPRESS card here is 1700 megabytes per second reading and 1480 megabytes per second writing. And so that's actually more than enough speed that I need to be taking landscape pictures. Now, at a wedding, the write speed to this card is going to be extremely important because that's going to allow the buffer to stay free and available for more pictures and more bursting power. There's a sacrifice, though, when it comes to the speed and the price. So about 2 minutes ago, I mentioned that I usually use small SD cards, such as 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes. And I do that for a reason, especially when it comes to photos versus video. Now, if I'm shooting video, I'm going to use a larger capacity card. However, if you've been watching the last video or two ago, I've been talking about Capture One Pro, and there's this small little issue still with Capture One Pro and CFEXPRESS XQD cards. But of course, depending on who you ask, it depends on whose issue it is. There's a lot of finger pointing going on. I know that I can plug my Z6 II here via USB-C to USB-A into my Mac Mini, and Lightroom will automatically open its import tool. I know that Capture One Pro does not do that, and to the best of my knowledge, the reason is because it's not detecting the right type of memory. So as a workaround, I've just basically switched my primary card on my Z6 II from using the CFEXPRESS to an SD card. And I went ahead, since all my SD cards, as you saw, are all pretty old and they're fairly slow, and purchased a Lexar 128 gig SD card with, I think it had a 250 megabyte per second read rate, which is a lot faster than these 10 and 30s. And so I hope you found that useful. If you have any comments or suggestions about the type of memory you use, as well as the workflow and the process with that card you use, or any type of issues you're also having with your CFEXPRESS or XQD cards, please post in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and please click the subscribe and like button also below, and join me for the next cut. And go Sox!